Everybody's waiting, but the fact of the matter is, it wasn't 8 o'clock yet, Russ. So, welcome to the show. The way we're going to set it up tonight, it's going to be basically a podcast format, but it's going to be an impromptu live, is what it basically is. Just because we seem to be in a perpetual motion of testing, so I knew all my good friends would show up tonight, so we're gonna do it this way, I think. So just some quick notes. We're gonna call this the Eden Army Podcast, and the reason we're doing it is to try to keep up with current events. We'll end up having industry people from the firearms industry, from the prepping survival industry. We'll have these as guests, and actually tonight we're gonna have Tiny Tooch. We're not gonna get her on right now, but tonight we'll have Tiny Tooch on, and that'll be kind of an interesting thing for you guys to give her a hard time. So definitely give her a hard time, first of all. And then what's going to happen is about 30 minutes in, we're going to move over to Kick. And why are we going to move over to Kick? The reason we're going to move over to Kick is because they're a little more lax. Of course, we're streaming right now on YouTube and on Facebook, but Kick's a little lax, so it's going to be like the after hours kind of show. So once we leave that, we'll stop that stream, and then we'll keep that stream going rather, and we'll stop the YouTube and the Facebook stream. So we're definitely gonna do that. And then if you want to be on air live via Discord, you're gonna have to make sure you have headphones on, and then you're not going to be able to see the stream, but you'll be able to hear us within Discord. So hopefully that all makes sense, and then I'll try to catch up with the chats and stuff like that as we go. Listen, I'm a one-man show over here. I don't have a moderator yet. I'm working on it, right, Russ? And once we get to that point, then I'll be able to dedicate a little more time to reading chats and stuff like that. So without any further ado, we're going to get this guy started. I was going to kick it off by talking about some of the current events, especially, well, what's the biggest thing going on right now? It's this Hamas-Israel fight, right? So I had a complete spiel about what I was going to say and what we were going to do there. But my good friend Tomer Israeli put out a live today, and he sums it up perfectly for me. So I'm not even going to regurgitate what he says. Actually, what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and play what he's got going on. So, and a lot of this, guys, today is just going to be to making sure I'm able to work on my transitions and stuff like that as a one-man show. So let's see what Tomer Israeli has to say, but let's set that up first. Tomer Israeli owns a tactical school, and he works worldwide. He's an ex-Shin Bet special operator with the IDF. The Shin Bet unit is akin to like our Secret Service here in the United States. So they're responsible for like I would say airport security, anything our Secret Service would do, they would do. So he's, and in addition to that, he's just a good friend of mine. So let's see what he has to say, and then we'll move on from there.
Okay, guys, so I want to give you an update about what's going on in Gaza. So the IDF complete the siege on Gaza City, divided the Hamas Gaza to two. So now we have the northern Gaza and we have the south of Gaza, and the army basically go around Gaza City, and all the Hamas is now contained. They cannot use the tunnels outside. We took care of all the tunnels that go south to the Gaza River and to the south. So this is currently the situation. They are isolated, and we will get them, and we're gonna kill them one by one. They're currently hiding under the ground or between the civilians population over there. We need to move relatively slow because it's condensed with the civilian population and that we don't want to harm.
So what you're talking about, I mean, basically what you're talking about is Fallujah on steroids. They're going into one of the most populous cities in the entire world right now. And even though they've already warned everybody to move south, Hamas, either they didn't want to move south or Hamas simply won't let them move south. So they're going to be very particular. It's going to be urban warfare. It's going to be urban combat. It's going to be nasty stuff. So That's a ordeal that they're going to really have to deal with. It's going to be an interesting fight, and unfortunately, there's going to be some civilian casualties. Not only civilian casualties just from IDF forces, but also civilian casualties from Hamas trying to stop people from fleeing because it's obvious that they use them people as human shields.
We open a corridor for civilians to go from the north to the south, but Hamas was bombing his own people not to have them running away from the conflict because he want to use them as a shield. This is currently the situation there. So still in Gaza Strip, the north side, we have around 200,000 people. That makes the army movement very, very difficult and slow, but we are doing it persistently and with lots of consideration about non-combatives. This is currently the situation in Gaza. The ambition is to basically to take the Hamas people also underground, but underground we simply cannot go because and do solutions like flooding with water the underground because we assume that our hostages, 200 and more of them, including 30 kids under the age of 16, including toddlers and babies that they kidnapped, they are held in these tunnels, and we of course want to avoid harm them in any way we can. So the answer is not to flood or to bomb these tunnels, and this is the way it is. So we need to be very, very careful and gentle. Hamas is working, besides from the tunnels, working from the hospital. We have several hospitals that still operate in the northern of Gaza, and it shoots rockets from them, and basically using the hospital, the patients and the staff and the population that taking hide.
So, if you've been watching the news lately, you understand that Hamas's main headquarters is underneath the biggest hospital in the Gaza Strip right now, and that's not by accident, obviously. So that's basically what he's talking about there. And look, I don't know how these guys are going to do it, but in my opinion, they're some of the best in the world at this type of business. So we'll see what the future weeks have to come. But right now, Gaza City, for the most part, the whole northern portion is completely surrounded by IDF. So, and people are talking about, well, there's no humanitarian aid. Listen, first of all, the IDF told those people to move south, and Egypt isn't letting as much humanitarian aid as they probably should. And that's been a problem between Egypt and Palestine forever. Simply nobody wants the Palestinian people, whether it be Egypt, whether it be Jordan, whether it be Iran. The only reason Iran even dignifies the Palestinian people is because they use them as pawns for their terrorist activities. So that's where we're at there.
In this hospital is a human shield. This is the way it is. As you see, it's very, very fragile situation over there. It's not like we can do what America did in World War II, that bombed Tokyo before Hiroshima. Before Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Tokyo was bombed by America killed 100,000 Japanese. This is totally different. We cannot use napalm like America did in the past. It's a totally different conflict, but very condensed urban like Tokyo, if you want to have the equivalent, what the army needs to face over there. So this is about the Gaza situation. I want to talk now about the Jewish people in America. Anti-Semitism is on the rise. There is, just open the TV and see the demonstrations, hundreds of thousands. What we do in order to help, it's basically we provide training on a cost. So basically, to make it as affordable for Jewish community to come and train, we already opened courses in Maryland, in Florida, in New Jersey, and in Kentucky, and we are open for other locations. So if you cannot join a local course in these states, we can also send a team to you and to train you in locally in your community. In order to take it to the next step, simply send us a text or email, and we try to coordinate training as soon as possible.
So if you need any training in any of these locations at all, or we can actually, and I'll mention this here soon, we'll send a team to you at cost. So message me, email me at probertucci@yahoo.com if you're interested in this type of training. I will be honest with you, it's not cheap, but it's very extensive, and it's definitely worth your time.
We currently have 4 places, so we're kind of busy now, but we're gonna open more dates as necessary. So this is about the training. Guys, I wish all of us safe day, and I will update soon if it's going to be any changes in the perspective over this conflict. Thank you for the support. Okay, guys, so I want to give you an update about.
All right, so there you go. That's Tomer. Basically boils down everything that's going on currently with the Hamas-Israeli conflict. So it's going to be nasty, guys. There's no way if, ands, or buts about it. And we're going to talk about some a little bit later on when little Tooch or Tiny Tooch comes on about some of the stuff she may or may not be seeing on her college campus down in South Florida. But current events on the Eden front is we went to Mountain Readiness, and I don't know if you guys have ever been to Mountain Readiness in Van Hoy Campgrounds in Harmony, North Carolina. But May is going to be the next event there, and let's roll a couple of pictures here that we took. Let's see. So actually here, we took a bunch of pictures from the Fallout event that the Angry American has that was hosting, and man, what a good time. So we had some vendors, we had campfires every night, and I have so many more pictures that I can show you guys, but basically that's kind of where we're at as far as all that's concerned. From a personal standpoint, for book 3 is almost done. You know, it's going to go off to edit here soon, like I've been saying forever, but there is some actual good news, and if you've signed up for my newsletter, you've already seen this, but this is going to be book 3 cover, and we've called it Eden Army. Why do we call it Eden Army? First of all, that's our brand, and apparently, according to the business gurus, you're supposed to have a brand. But also our good friend Christy, who coined the term Eden Army as our fan base. I thought it'd be a little nice homage to her to see that her creation has come into fruition. So again, if you have not signed up for our newsletter, go to PeteRobertucci.com. A box will pop up. You'll get a newsletter. I don't spam. Once a month, a newsletter goes out. Current events, what's going on in our world, and, you know, see what's going on. From a post-apocalyptic standpoint, from the fiction standpoint, Franklin Horton released his Mad Mick 10 series, book 10. Book 10 is amazing. If you've never heard or read the Mad Mick series, you are missing out. Franklin Horton is best in the business when it comes to writing. The guy's a machine. So pick up Dislocated, the Mad Mick series on anywhere books are sold, and that's in all formats. And for what I understand, our good buddy Angry American has got his book 12 coming out soon, calling that Exploring Home, and that's also going to be out on all formats. So that's going to be jam up. So I can't wait to hear Duke Fontaine narrate that. Kevin Pierce narrates the stuff for Franklin Horton, and you know he's the voice of the apocalypse. But Duke is pretty damn good. So that's kind of where we're at with all that. So speaking of Mountain Readiness, last May we had, or it was last year, we did the full first annual Mountain Readiness event, and I brought Tiny Tucci with me, and it was kind of wild to have her there because she is one of the, I guess she is just the one of the main characters in the book. I mean, she's a girl that Laken Donnelly, the character, one of the main characters in the book, is basically just encompasses what the way I feel Brianna is. Just a tough girl. She's nasty with a pistol. She's tactically sound. And I always told people if there was a home invasion and somebody broke in the house, rather than throw the firearm to my wife, I'd throw it to her to protect the family. So without any further ado, let's bring in Tiny Tooch. Hey, Tiny Tooch, how are you doing?
Good. I'm very excited to be here.
You are excited to be here. Well, we're certainly glad to have you here. I can only imagine right now what the chat is saying about you, but we'll pick that up. What are you wearing there?
So I have the Eden Army merch on. If you guys don't already know, you can get shirts, and I'm sure there's hats and stuff too. So make sure you guys go get some merch so I can go to college.
so so you, so you can go to college. You're already in college, so we can help
It's
pay
my
for
college fund.
your college fund. Yeah. So that's a funny thing. All the sales and stuff. As with Tiny Tooch being my only child, pretty much all the sales from the books and the merch and stuff, she just eats it up. It goes all to her for gas and expensive cars and stuff like that. So, but we gladly do that because we love her so much, and she's a tough little gal. So definitely good to have you here, kiddo, and I'm glad you're home for the weekend and you're going to stay a couple other days. What's it like being portrayed as a main character in a book? I know that was a surprise to you because I actually gave that book to you as a Christmas present because you have everything else. So basically, I gave that book to you as a Christmas present, right? So and you read it, and I assume you liked it because you wanted to push it out to retail, which I'm glad you did because it of course brought book two to fruition and now book three. So what do you think? What was it
You
like? What was
know,
it like?
when we went to Mountain Readiness, I don't think that I wasn't really like involved with your books and stuff. I feel like I read them, of course, and I wanted you to publish them, but I didn't realize like what kind of, I don't know, fan base you had or who was reading and stuff. So it was a really cool opportunity to go there and having people ask me for my autograph and stuff. It was pretty cool. I've never experienced something like that before.
Yeah, you were pretty much a rock star, and I was just there trying to sell books, and everybody was like, "I don't even want your autograph. I want the kid's autograph because she's just a badass." So, so for those of you that don't know, Tiny Tooch is 21 years old. I know she looks like she's 14, but she is a full grown 21-year-old woman. So if you see her get nervous and drink a Mike's lemonade or whatever she's got in her room, I'm sure don't freak out and call child services on me because she's a damn adult. So get over that. So I don't know if you did you hear the breakaway with Tomer about the Hamas Israel war. Were you able to hear that or?
I didn't get to hear as much as it as I would have liked to, but I did hear you talking about it. I would definitely like to watch that again.
Okay, I'll pull it up after the live and we'll talk about it. But are you seeing anything from your college campus down there in South Florida? Are you seeing any pro-Palestinian or any type of anti-Semitism down there?
So it's funny because I mean, it's not really funny, but when it was all over like the media, like the Israeli-Palestine war, there was one protest at my college. There was pro-Palestinians or pro-Hamas, whatever you want to call them. And then there was the pro-Israelis, and they were just fighting with each other. Like they were flipping each other off and cussing at each other, and just it was not very peaceful at all. But the funny thing about that is there was one protest, and then when the media kind of went away from that and went on to whatever, they completely dropped it. Nobody talks about it anymore. It just further shows that it's all a media thing. Not nobody looks at the facts of the situation.
Well, and I think you're right, and I also think they're getting blowback because a lot of these contributors to these big colleges, Tiny Tooch, are are Jewish conservatives for the most part. So
Yeah,
once you start seeing this type of rhetoric going on, and the college campuses actually allowing it to happen, then all these benefactors are pulling their money away, and money talks, right? So uh,
yeah, of course.
yeah. So what about, and I feel like I raised you pretty good. What about tell everybody your orientation in college? What the two most important things that they now listen. We're not saying anything's wrong, but it just gives an idea of the breeding, the teachings, and what type of breeding grounds colleges in the United States are actually being formed. What their teachers are actually pushing. So Tiny Tooch, tell us what they were most concerned about during your orientation.
Well, you saw when I was in high school too how my teachers were, but for orientation, I had to go through this whole class about them teaching us all the events on campus and stuff. And I swear to you, there was about 3 pages talking about the annual drag show and queer coffee hour. There was nothing
Did
like pertaining to education.
did they actually use that term, queer coffee hour?
Yeah, it's called Queer Coffee Hour. I'm not sure when it is because I didn't really research it like that. But and then they have once a year there's a drag show. So it was funny because I sent you a picture of it, but at the end of the orientation, it asked us two facts that we learned about our school, and what I put was that there's an annual drag show, and you can't reverse back in the parking spaces.
They wouldn't allow you to reverse. So those were because they just harped on those things.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's interesting what our colleges have become, and it's interesting to see that the anti-Semitism that's coming out of the colleges now for really no reason other than people just want to find a reason to protest. In my opinion,
Well, all it is it's herd mentality. They hear their friends doing one thing, so then they all jump on and protest what they think is right without looking at any of the facts.
I think you're right. I think you're right, kiddo. So with that being said, so getting back to some of the book stuff, and you read the first book, so you know I am not the guy who likes to be on camera. I've spent my entire life who basically hiding from any camera or any type of public thing, because you know the first rule in prepping, Brianna. What's the first rule in prepping? It's kind of like Fight Club.
You don't talk about it.
Right. So when I basically wrote book one, it had our entire prepping plan should shit hit the fan scenario happen, right? It had an entire plan. That was our legit plan. Like that was what we were gonna do, right? So so after that book came out, obviously we had to make some changes. So our group kind of changed, and you had to meet a bunch of weird people that you're like, I don't know about these guys. They might be out there. But solid guys, right? Solid people that have your back. So what'd you think about me inviting people over to the house to kind of have these meetings and kind of feel them out to make sure they were a good fit? Because you know, we would have some of our weekends, we'd have 20 or 30 people over here, and you'd have to entertain and meet the different type of personalities.
So you know, I was going off what you just said. I was just thinking about it. I just reread book one a couple weeks ago, and I was just thinking about how like you know when you read something and you like if you go back and read it, you get more details than if you just read it one time.
Right.
I was thinking about it, and I was like, dang, this is pretty like on spot of what we would do. This is not good.
Yeah, no, it was exactly what we were going to do. I mean, and straight, I mean, look, every year we took that same hike in the Ocala National Forest, didn't we? And every year I'm thinking out there, I'm laying in my bunk or laying in my hammock or laying in my tent. Man, what if something were to pop off where we're out here and we weren't able to get home? So that was actually like went through my mind. Now, of course, I took some liberties as an author to to sensationalize it a little bit. But you're right.
Everybody is saying, I don't mean to cut you off, but everybody is saying that I have a lot of echo right now.
Okay, let's try that. How's that?
In the chat.
Is that any better?
Let's see what they say. I'm looking at chat right now.
Okay. Sorry, guys. Like I said, this is a perpetual testing, so we're seeing if she has echo now. Go ahead and speak, Brianna.
Hello, test. Am I better or
Much better.
much
Okay.
better? They
Yeah.
said.
Yeah. I had something else on that I need to. I'm working on it, guys. I need a moderator. I'm telling you, but it's hard to try to dial everything in on my own here. But we're working on it. We're getting it. We're getting through it, aren't we? I think.
Yeah, we're good.
And, you know, and it's funny because the entire week we were setting up testing through the Discord and stuff like that, and people would jump in and out of it. And as soon as they jumped in, as we were testing, I'd snatch them up. I know Terry, we snatched Terry up and said, "Hey, come on, you're going to be our guinea pig. We need to test this out. How does this sound? How does this sound?" And Reverend French, or he goes by Cat, I had about a 40-minute conversation with him, and it was one of the most philosophical conversations. If you guys don't know, he's in chat right now. If you have never talked with this guy, especially like at Mountain Readiness or anywhere, let him tell you about his life story a little bit. Not to put his air his dirty laundry out there, but it's a true testament of what type of person he is. So that's good stuff. All right, I figured out the echo. That's sweet. Sorry about that, guys. So now we've reformulated our plan, right, Brianna? Which we can't talk about though, because why can't we talk about that?
Well, in my opinion too, the thing about prepping is like you're prepping for events that you're expecting to happen, but you aren't really expecting to happen. You know what I mean? So the whole thing about prepping is that you're prepared for the unexpected.
Yeah.
So, we can have different plans and stuff, but ultimately, if we're prepared, we should be prepared. You know what I mean? For anything that pops up.
And living in Florida, preparedness is something we do every year anyway. We get hit by hurricanes and stuff like that, so we have food stores and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
not even that, not like prepping sources too, but like, I don't know, just being prepared, keeping training up, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, keeping training up and having a group that you're able to rely upon. And a lot of people in the prepping community, Brianna, they talk about, listen, when stuff pops off, I'm just going to go at it alone. I'm going to be a lone wolf. I'm just going to be gray man. And the fact of the matter is that it's not going to work. It's not going to work because sooner or later you're going to have to sleep. Sooner or later you're going to have to, if it's a prolonged event, sooner or later you're going to have to farm, and someone's going to have to watch your back during all that. So that's why I am a proponent of building what I call a mutual assistance group. And that's a group of people that are like-minded, and you just rely on each other. And that's what I wrote the fiction books, but some of the stuff I'm most proud of is the nonfiction stuff. And I actually wrote a manual about, I don't know if you read it, Tiny Tooch, but a manual about how to form a mutual assistance group. So it's the one thing that I'm most proud of, because that was something that I already had for our group. And to be able to put it out to the public, to be able to form a mutual assistance group in the right way it was huge for me. And the people in Mountain Readiness loved it. People are buying it off the shelves like crazy. So it's something that I'm really happy about. And listen, if you haven't got it yet, Christmas is coming up. Give it to everybody you know. The thing's only $10 on Amazon, and it's well worth the money. So with that being said, we're going to roll into a little commercial here because we're still testing on the podcast. So we're going to roll into a commercial. It's going to take a couple minutes. So just watch it, appease me, and we'll see. This is Volume 1 in the EA Survival Series. It'll give you a comprehensive understanding of forming and maintaining a mutual assistance group, where and how to find members, and conducting the group in general. No matter how big or small it is, it'll run like a finely tuned organization. Well, there you go. Hopefully that came through for everybody. But you tell me how that looked. And then we're gonna field some questions from the chat, Tiny Tooch. And if anybody wants,
you want me to read them for you?
No, I got them here. I just got to kind of look off to the side, which is according to Holly is a no-no, but I'm doing it anyway. But yeah, read anything that sticks out to you, and that if anybody has any questions in particular for Tiny Tooch, since she's our guest here, shout it out and see what she has to say for herself. It should be interesting. Also, if you want to get on Discord, if anybody wants to get on Discord and actually speak live, this would be a good opportunity to pop into Discord, and I'll bring you into the audience, and you'll be able to speak live on air. So what do you see, Brianna? What do you see, baby girl? You see anything? Any questions that you need to field?
Let me look.
Now's the time, guys. Because let me tell you, to nail this girl down is not easy to do. Will, the 2A flag, that's in Tiny Tooch's room. So I'll tell you a funny story about that, Will. She was doing online classes during COVID, and she had that actual flag behind her. And at one point, I think she even put my night vision goggles on or something like that.
Oh,
and
I have a whole picture of that.
Yeah, so it was.
I was wearing the Trump hat and your night vision and this flag behind me.
Right. So
for the COVID.
Yeah. So during COVID, so she had one teacher who was an economics teacher that was super. Well, he was a socialist, and he wasn't shy about telling you he was. I mean, at one point he said that capitalism failed the American worker, and people should read the Communist Manifesto because that was better for the American worker, which was wild to me. But and he would constantly have Second Amendment debates within the economics class, which was crazy to me. But during the COVID stuff, where Tiny Tooch had to do some online classes, she went for the most part to most of the classes, but at some point she had to do some online stuff through Zoom. She had that flag in the background. She had a Trump hat on, which we're not 100% fans of Trump. I kind of think he's a buffoon, but his policies were awesome for the country. So and that's what mattered to me. And she might have even had, like I said, my night vision goggles on. But baby girl, what did your economics teacher have to say about that? Did you get in any trouble?
No, he couldn't really say anything, but he would once in a while give me dirty looks, or there's a lot of questions now in the chat.
All right, what do you got? Let's read them off and let's answer them, baby.
All right. Is Eden Army Christy?
Eden Army's Chrissy, yeah. Mm-hmm. Number one, because she's the number one. She was the first one in the Eden Army, and she's
the OG.
She is the OG, exactly. Well, I'm not that old. That's Original Gangster for all you older people out there. OG.
She said, "Let's go have drinks and get range time." Not in that order. LOL.
Exactly. So hey, funny thing.
I've been trying to get out on the range. Yeah. I want to get back into it.
Well, we'll definitely get back into it. But one thing, we are going to have an appreciation day weekend actually in February. I'm not gonna give you the dates yet because we got a special guy coming out here, and Russ is gonna do some stuff. And anyway, so reader appreciation, friend appreciation day out at Eden Farms. Sometime in February. So I'll give you at a later time, once we nail everything down, I'll give you the exact dates, and then maybe we can even get Tiny Tooch to make those dates, because I'm sure people want a signature from you because you're a rock star. Tiny Tooch, Will Gomez asks, have you been contacted from any of your fan bases? So has anybody actually put two and two together? Because you're probably kind of young, most of your friends, but has anybody done anything weird to try to reach out to you?
I mean, not really. Most of the time, I will reach out to people and be like, "Yo, go buy this book," or "My dad writes books, go check it out."
Yeah, help.
But I haven't had anybody
help your college fund, right?
Yeah, I'm out in South Florida marketing for you right now.
Perfect. Chrissy asks about talking about the range time. Chrissy, you can come out whenever you want, young lady, and my range is open to you, and my instruction is always open to you. A lot of people don't know, but I also do firearms instructions. I teach a couple of different types of active shooter mitigation, mostly based on the Israeli style of limited penetration for single man CQB. Hey, Tooch, you have your bug out bag and no. See, I told you. Guy would say something about that. So, Guy's asking, hey, do you know that you actually have a
He
radio
said
in your bug out bag?
he said he wouldn't snitch.
So while we were testing during the week, Guy was one of the guys that came in, and we used him as a guinea pig. And he goes, "Don't worry, guys. Yeah, everything you said here is safe with me." I go, "No, 100%. He is definitely gonna bring it up during the live."
Well, I told him what happens to snitches, so
Guy, what happens with snitches? No, Guy can't give. Guy, I'm looking forward to seeing you in February too. I know Guy was over there at Mountain Readiness at the Fallout event, at both events. Actually, that's right, Ang. That's right, Russ. They do get stitches.
Russ knows what's up.
Russ is OG also. But Guy, it was good seeing you. I'm looking forward to having you down here at Eden Farms. Or yeah, you're right, Michael. Or ditches. That's an Italian thing. No, we can't talk about that, Michael. Yeah, I'll give you the exact dates, Guy, and hopefully you can make it. And like I said, if you have to come early or whatever you want, we got plenty of room for you, brother. Let's see, baby girl, do we have any other questions? Hey, Michael, are you on shift today or?
I think that's mom.
Oh, you think that's mom. Yeah, you're probably right.
Because she said, what did Facebook do? Oh, you remember when you posted that picture of me with the flag for my class? What did Facebook do to that picture?
Oh, that got me 30 days. That got me a 30-day ban.
Yep.
Oh, Mrs. Tooch is on the chat. I didn't know that. I thought that was Lil Tooch. So everyone say hi to Mrs. Tooch. She's in the chat too. I'm rolling through the comments now just to kind of take a look, and I'd be interested to see if the comments are coming from any other platforms or if they're just coming from this platform. I guess we can't see that until the end, or maybe somebody can tell me. Heck, I don't know. Did
you see what the other Russell said?
What did he say?
He said, now she has a bunch of uncles the boys have to regard.
Exactly. They got just within the reader base, I think, which have all become my friends now at this point, and anybody can tell you that they're if you're on this chat right now, I've probably met you personally, and I consider you friends and friends for life. And yeah, these guys do have our back, kid, and they'd go to the ropes with us 100% for sure. What else do we got here? Scrolling through. I know, Holly. Listen, Holly, I know you're watching. I'm sorry that I keep looking off to the side. I know I should look directly into the camera when I'm talking to people, but it's hard for me to do.
You're just going to be mad at me for looking down. I'm reading the chat, though.
Well, that's why we just kind of set this up in a podcast format, baby girl, and then it's basically a live for the most part, just to try to integrate everything. See, I don't see anything. Guy, Angry Russ, Cat's here, Chrissy. We got 15 viewers, not many people in chat though, so it'll be interesting to see. And listen, if you're viewing and you haven't followed us yet, follow us, you slackers. That way we can get to that 75 follower threshold and get verified on Kick toolboxes. Oh boy.
And don't forget the college fund. Buy merch and books.
You're a piece of work. You are a business major, aren't you?
Yeah, it's my major. I'm a businesswoman.
So Chrissy asked a question. We went out to dinner the other night with Chrissy and her mom, and her mom is a piece of work. Let me tell you, I basically got raped inside of a Texas Roadhouse, but you should have an invite, Will, to the Discord server. It should be something like Eden Army. If not, it's scrolling on the screen right now. Just type that in, and you'll pop up. Because there's nobody actually in the audience right now for that. So if you wanted to get in and say a few words, now would be the time. Oh, Ed's on too. Ed, well, why aren't you in chat? You just now popping stuff up. So Ed,
He was in the Discord earlier.
I saw you in the Discord earlier, yeah, and you popped out because you couldn't see the stream because you didn't follow directions, Ed. So Ed is a good buddy of mine. We work together at a gun store, and Ed taught me a lot of stuff. He's also a fellow firefighter. I've since retired. He's still on the job, but Ed Orr is one of those guys that I was telling you about. Will have your back, have your six constantly, and see what happens. So, I think Lala popped in in the audience for a second and then popped out. That would have been epic.
Lala?
Yeah, the Lala. But he popped out because I'm sure he's 3 sheets to the wind right now, and he doesn't quite know how to work everything. Would be my guess. That was good apple crisp that Ed made. I don't think Ed made it, honestly. I think his wife made it and he just packaged it and brought it to us. But I could be wrong. But it was amazing. Didn't get an invite on Discord. Did you let me see how I can do that, kiddo. Yeah, so all you have to do, Russ, is go to that Discord link right there in your browser. It'll pop you to it, discord.gg/cntdtbqz. I don't know if that's case sensitive or not, but it'll pop you into the audience, and then if you wanted to say a few words, you can talk through Discord. Again, this is a learning process for us, so we're definitely gonna get it dialed in. Or in the comments for Facebook or the description for Facebook, or I think it's on there where you can just click on it, but that's entirely up to you. Yeah, Terry, it's on the Eden Army post, exactly.
Why don't you put that link in the chat?
I can't type all that. You type it.
Oh, send it to me and I will.
It's scrolling. Oh, you can't see it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Larry Dial is in the that wasn't Lala, that was Larry. Larry, if you can hear us, we're streaming live, or if you know how to work Discord and want to get on the air live, you can right click and then ask to speak, and then we can pull you up into the speakers forum, and you'll be live. Or I can just drag you there and do an impromptu. I think it's a right click, and I think you can do something. I don't know exactly where it's at, but it should say ask to speak. But Ed, if you want to speak, just get in there and I'll pull you up, bud. Or anybody else. I'm just gonna assume if you get in it, then I'm pulling your butt up.
I just put the link to the Discord in the chat, I think.
Let's see what we got there. I don't see it, kiddo.
Maybe.
It's on the Facebook. It's on the Eden Army Facebook page. There goes Russ. Russ, do you want to speak? You think you could do it? Think you're technically savvy enough to do it? Because I know you're more technically savvy than me. I'm going to pull Russ up. Russ, I sent you an invite to speak. All you have to do is accept it. And then we'll see how that works, because I'm not 100% sure if that's even going to work. Oh boy, we're almost on an hour on the regular broadcast. We're going to pop over to to Kick. Russ, so now you're up here. So if you've got your microphone, you should be able to speak, and we'll see if you come through and everybody can hear you. So
I think I have.
No, I heard
had to
you.
figure out how to mute Kick.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I can't help you there. Got any headphones? If you had headphones on, that'd probably help you.
Let me try that. How does that work?
Yeah, we don't hear any feedback on that end, so that sounds good. So this is Russ Sawyer. Russ Sawyer is a tech
Can you hear
savvy.
me?
Yep, I do hear you. I'm assuming you can hear me, Russ?
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So we're getting a little feedback, but it's not a big deal. It's not too distracting. Russ, if you guys don't know, he's the technical guru for Angry American. Good friend of mine. I met him through Chris Weatherman, Angry American. And he's actually going to be here in February cooking a whole hog for the masses. So I don't know if you've ever eaten any of his hog before. Not to be dirty, but his whole hog pig. Then come on out. Yeah, Larry, we see you. We see you, buddy. You're chatting in Discord as opposed to on the other platform. So I'll figure a way to link that chat on also. So Russ, what do you think? You think we're gonna have this thing in February, or you think it's gonna? What do you think? Have this thing in February, or you think it's gonna? Little feedback. We're gonna deal with it.
I think it'll be okay. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to turn the volume down. There we go. How about now? Am I still getting a lot of reverb?
No, you're actually getting nothing, and I assume you can. I don't know if you can hear me though through Discord or not, but that might be another setting you need to deal with. So one quick way to fix this, guys, in the future is to get some headphones, and that way we won't hear the feedback. But you sound great right now, Russ. But I'm 100% sure you probably can't hear us.
I turned the volume down on Kick, which will allow me to still hear you. But I think I might be hearing you through Discord as well. I don't know. But we'll have a good time down there, man. I'm looking forward to it. I enjoyed cooking the last hog that I cooked down in Florida. Second time's a charm. We'll do another one.
Well, and Russ potentially may come a few days early. So if anybody wants to sit around the campfire early with Russ and me, and maybe Tiny Tooch, that might be an interesting time. Interesting time. So, and Tiny Tooch, what do you think? You think you're gonna be able to make it down? I'll give you the dates. I haven't given you the dates yet. They're not set in stone, but
Yeah, I'll definitely be here. I always need an excuse to come back home.
She's so sweet, isn't she? She's not like that's just because she's on air. Yeah, Chrissy, you could certainly camp overnight, especially with some of the debauchery that'll be going on. It's probably going to be a good idea to camp overnight. And Mrs. Tooch is going to put on a pressure canning class also during that time frame, if any. So when I say pressure canning class, she's going to show you how to do it. And while you're waiting that hour or 110 minutes or whatever it takes for the pressure, you're just going to drink wine because that's what they do. And then but she's definitely gonna put a class on. And actually, it might be a good idea if anybody wants anything pressure canned to bring it, and we'll pressure can it for you and get it at least that way to help some of your preparations. The glamping, your glamping tent. And I've got here at the property, I've got 120 volt power spread out throughout the 10 acres, so there'll be spots for you to plug into, guys. So that'll be cool. Look, with that being said, we're gonna go through an intermission right now, and then we're gonna stop the Facebook and the YouTube and go 100% on Kick. Because like I said, Kick is a little more laid back, and the chances of me getting banned off it are probably a lot less than YouTube and stuff like that. So anybody watching on YouTube, we are going to move over to Kick exclusively. And anybody watching on Facebook Live on the Eden Army page, we thank you for being here. Hopefully we'll see you over on Kick. But we're going to have a small intermission because what's going to end up happening is I'm going to get a drink and we're going to really kick back. So thanks for watching YouTube and Facebook Live. Anybody who wants to stick around for the Kick, we're going to be going for about another half hour.